What's happening, everybody? This is, I guess, my first live video on YouTube. I like doing stuff like this live because it offers authenticity. So I guess there we go. It's offers authenticity, and that's one thing that has served me really well is being authentic as the best I can be. So my name is Frank Sell. I am the owner founder of Home of the Hustle, homeofthehustle.com, which has kind of turned into a coffee brand, getshitdonecoffee.com. So that's the stories about how I didn't really choose the coffee life. The coffee life chose me. So to start out with, I've been self-employed now 21 years. I followed the path that our parents taught us when we were younger, especially those of us that grew up back in the 1900s. My father and my parents told me to either get an education, get good grades, uh, or learn a trade. And so for me, I did not enjoy school whatsoever. And so the next best thing for me was to learn a trade. And so that's what I did. I went to Votech. I learned how to weld because my mindset was that welder could always make good money and a welder could always be employed. There's always a lot of opportunities um, if you're willing to work hard. And so that's what I did fresh out of high school, 18 years old. I go out into the production world. You talk about an eye opening environment. Um, and I became a welder. And the last job that I had, I started in 1994. Yeah, 1994. Valentine's Day, 1994 was the last job that I had. I started it on Valentine's Day, 1994, employee 5331. And I haven't had that job for 21 years now. And I still remember my employee number because that's what I felt like is just a number. And I'm sure a lot of you probably felt the same way at some point in time, just a number in the system. So I did what I was supposed to do. I showed up, I worked really hard, um, became really good at what I did. And, I did my part. I showed up, did my work. And the expectation was they had a 30-year retirement program. And that was a big deal that I was sold by my parents that you want to get a job with a pension, with a retirement, go work 30, 40 years and retire with a pension. And so what happened was though is they uh they changed the deal on me. They sold the company that I was working for. And so I started there. I was still 18 years old and I was going to retire at 48. That sounded pretty appealing to me at the time. Only problem was when they sold the company, they changed the benefits. And when they changed the benefits, they changed the retirement to where no matter what, you had to work until you were 55. So here I was in my early to mid 20s. I had 4 weeks paid vacation, had my health insurance, all the benefits that were supposed to be uh, our target, our prize that we were aiming for, and part of that was taken away. So I had this realization that the guys around me that had been welders for 20, 30, 40 years, none of them were very healthy. None of them really had the lifestyle that I wanted. And this realization that I would have to work until I was 45, so that was 37 years, that I wasn't going to work until I was 50 and then have them change the deal on me again. And so I realized I had to make a decision. And so I either had to accept what they were willing to give me and be happy with it, or I had to take control of my destiny and my future. And so what happened is I knew some guys that fixed hail damage on cars. You see, I live in the Midwest. I live just outside of Wichita, Kansas. and there's a lot of thunderstorms, a lot of cars get hail damage and so on out here. And I knew these guys that fix hail damage on cars, but I also knew that they weren't uh, kind of as handy with their hands. I knew my hands were really smart, you could say. Um, and so I looked for opportunities to get training, and nothing really worked out. I couldn't, at the time, some of the training would have cost $40,000 to get into this industry, and at the time, I couldn't see the value in that. So what I did is I bought a $100 VHS tape on how to fix hail damage on cars, and I taught myself. I would take a couple hours, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours a week, and sit down. I would watch this video, and then I would go out to the shop and work on spare parts, scrap hoods, so on, until I got to where I thought I could sell my skills. And so that's what I did in March of 2020 or March of 2003. I volunteered for a layoff and I quit my job and just started hustling. I opened the yellow pages and I looked for body shops, car dealerships, and go out, start networking, start cold calling, start door knocking, literally just beating the streets, trying to drum up business. And so that's worked out really well over the last 21 years. Um, I have earned literally I've earned several $1 million doing that. The only problem is I didn't have the right partners along the way. I didn't make the right investments along the way because I didn't educate myself on what to do with that kind of money and how to be disciplined with investments, how to invest in real estate or stocks or something that would create cash flow or dividends, because my mindset was income based. I didn't think about cash flow. I didn't think about profits. I didn't think about dividends. I didn't think about tax free income, all these different things. So several years ago, I started a Facebook page called Home of the Hustle, which was an opportunity kind of like this, where I would do live interviews, like a podcast, me and some buddies, um, of people that do marketing and branding, e-commerce, selling stuff online, and so on, in order to, one, educate ourselves, two, to build a network of people that were qualified, but then three, also to build an audience. And so that worked really well. We built an audience, we built a network. The only problem was we didn't really have anything to sell or offer the audience, and that changed in 2019, 2020. So I along the way, I had started my first brand, and it was called Baby Beard Club. It was a beard oil brand, obviously. And so I noticed that in uh, in the beard oil marketplace, that nobody was marketing to the essential oils that are in beard oil. So I'm gonna get something real quick. And I got this because this is an important part of our story here. Uh, so I noticed that in the beard oil niche market, whatever you want to call it, that if it's an all natural beard oil, that it's made with essential oils. And the first beard oil that we made, I put it on at night after I showered, and I slept really good. And so I asked what happened, and is the essential oils in there? And I said, well, shit, nobody's marketing the therapeutic effect of the essential oils in the beard oil. So I created an essential beard oil line through babybeardclub.com. I had a nighttime beard oil that would help you sleep, and a daytime beard oil that would help you focus and wake you up. And so that at the end of the day, that was a really good learning experience. It was an on the job education. because I learned a lot about branding. I learned a lot about how packaging, the website, a lot of the things that have kind of got us to where we're at now. Um, so one one time I had gone to Wichita for a in-person networking event, and I met some guys that have a co-packing or a contract canning facility, meaning they can coffee for other people. Um, and they also had their own in-house brand, and they sold coffee. And we just become friends, become buddies. So a lot of times I like to say, show up, find friends, want to do cool shit, and get shit done. And so they liked my beard oil brand. I liked their coffee, so I was buying coffee from them. They bought a little bit of beard oil for me, and one day the magic happened. This is how we got into the coffee business. So I had ordered stickers to give away with our beard oil, and at the same time, I'd also ordered coffee from my friends, and so I had a bag of beans laying on my desk, kind of like this. Um, at the time, they didn't label their coffee beans because just coffee beans was not their main business. Canning coffee is their main business, and I'd ordered stickers similar to this to give away with our beard oil that was called Get Shit Done. Get Shit Done beard oil because it helped wake you up, right? The nighttime beard oil, the daytime beard oil was called Get Shit Done. And so I have these stickers laying on my desk, and I have a bag of coffee laying on my desk, and I thought it would be funny to put a Get Shit Done sticker on a bag of coffee and then post it on Facebook. And because I had this entrepreneur audience through Home of the Hustle, all my friends were like, really, are you really selling Get Shit Done coffee? How do I buy it? And I happened to have 5 bags laying there for just my personal use. So I put stickers on all the bags, and I sold it to them. And so that's when it really kind of hit me, what to do with Home of the Hustle. Another thing was I was on a podcast with a guy in my network. He's an Amazon seller. He's very successful, 7, 8 figure Amazon seller. And I was on his podcast because he wanted me to come on the podcast to tell my $100 videotape story, how I bought a $100 videotape to learn a new trade, quit my job, and beat the damn street so hard I swear I get a bill for the potholes. So that's a phrase that I came out with because somebody asked me how I got started in business, and I said, I don't know, man. I just beat the damn street so hard I swear I get a bill for the potholes. And so that's what this has become, is Get Shit Done coffee. So we started out with the bags of coffee. I would buy 30 pounds, 20, 30 pounds at a time. And then I would bag it up at home and sell it online, sell it to friends. And the guys that I was getting my coffee from, and I still do, their main business though was contract canning. So it's what's called private label. They can coffee for other people. Uh, and so I asked them, how do I make a canned coffee? And so they gave me the different options of how to make a canned coffee. Either I pay to have our own proprietary formula made, meaning I own the formula, or I private label one of their in-house brands. And so that's what we did. In September of 2020, we bought our first pallet of our own personal brand of coffee, of the Get Shit Done canned coffee. So I bought a pallet of coffee of the Get Shit Done coffee, and you'll see right there it says, "Beat the damn street so hard they send you a bill for the potholes." That was about 3,000 cans of coffee. I sold all of it in 5 weeks, and that was because I had built this entrepreneur audience, this hustle audience on Facebook through Home of the Hustle. And so that really, what I like to tell people is, like, you don't always need a business plan. The validation that you need is somebody willing to hand you money for your shit, hand you money for your product or your service. So that was validation for me, that people love the brand and people love the product, because they would buy a can for the brand, and they would buy a case for the taste, because the taste is great. It's phenomenal. I just got a review on our website that a guy said he essentially bought it for the brand, was not expecting it at all to taste as good as it did, and he was amazed at how good it tastes, probably the best that he's tasted. Um, and so since then we have grown, we continue to grow. Um, what what I like about it though, one of the things is this is an opportunity for freedom, because that's why I started my entrepreneur journey. I wanted freedom. I wanted the ability uh, to take the ceiling away. If you take the ceiling away, you also take the safety of a floor, of a paycheck away. But I knew I could create freedom. I knew that I could rely on myself to get shit done, to go out there and do whatever it took to make things happen. But as we've grown the business, and as I share my story of the business, I've noticed that me, Frank Sell, that's my last name, Sell, Sell. That for me, Frank Sell, I'm selling inspiration. I'm selling permission. I'm selling a story of entrepreneurship. I'm selling the story of freedom. And so the permission is that, hey, look at me, man. I didn't go to college. I barely graduated high school. Um, but I'm out there doing it. I bought it. I mean, shot. I bought $100 videotape 20, probably 25 years ago to learn a new trade, and I learned just enough to quit my job and start hustling. So you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to know, and it's another quote of mine. You just have to know that you're going to do it scared until you do it skilled. That means that you're not going to know everything. I still don't know everything, but I know more than I did 21 years ago, and I know that as long as I keep moving forward and pay attention, be grateful, be humble, that opportunity is gonna help me out every chance that it gets. So it's one of the things that I've learned is to take every challenge, you would call it a mistake. Every failure also has the seeds of a lesson. Every adversity has the ability to equip you with strength, knowledge, and wisdom. So as I wrap this up, I would say uh, you're probably closer than what you think. You probably know more than what you realize. Um, and one of the biggest things that you can do is know that you won't quit, and try to make the best decisions that you can. Surround yourself with good people. Your network is your net worth. Show up, find friends that want to do cool shit, and get shit done. Thanks for letting me share.